Great Scott. Great Scott. Great Scott.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another fabulous edition of Great Scott. Affleck! I'm Scotty V, and thanks for watching. So, right before my last week's episode went live, we found out that Ben Affleck would be playing the Caped Crusader in the upcoming Man of Steel sequel, Batman, Superman crossover, the Versus movie where Batman's going to punch the crap out of Superman, and Superman's going to cry like the baby that we all know he is, and the worthless superhero that we've all been told he's become. DC wants us to love Batman, we know this. DC loves Batman, we know this. The creator fanboys love Batman, this we know. Most people have a problem with Superman. We know that as well. Now, here at the Superman homepage, and a lot of the friends that we all have on Facebook, a lot of our personal friends, don't feel exactly the same way. We all, of course, love Superman. We want to see Superman become the... What the heck happened there? My camera went crazy! We all want to see Superman become the hero, the main guy, the frontliner, the first one people look to, and the one that's always in the center, the one that's always looked to be the inspiration for all the other heroes. But instead, DC has kind of turned Batman into that. He's not really the inspiration, but he is instead the mentor, or the guy that tells everybody off or puts everybody else in his place. But that's neither here nor there. We've talked about this in the past. I like to watch superhero movies, and I'm actually pretty excited about a Batman-Superman crossover. I'm hoping that Warner's either comes out and says it, or we find out as time goes on that this is not Man of Steel 2, but instead Batman/Superman, World's Finest, or Batman and Superman are friends, or Batman and Superman try to kill each other, but Batman's really the only one who could accomplish this feat. That would be a long title. But Ben Affleck, quiet the hell down. Not you, Ben. Everyone else. There's a lot of people who haven't said anything, and to you, I apologize for this rant. For everyone else, shut the hell up! Ben Affleck is an actor. He is an award-winning director. He is an extremely creative and talented individual. All I'm hearing, mostly what I'm hearing is, don't you remember Daredevil? Don't you remember Gigli? Actually, I don't remember Gigli. I never watched it. I was never interested in the Ben Affleck, Jennifer Lopez romance. I was never interested in Jennifer Lopez movies in general, though I did see In Plain Sight. That's a TV show. Some movie with her and George Clooney, which was actually pretty good, and I think it was critically accepted as a pretty good movie as well. But other than that, I was never really interested in Jennifer Lopez in the movies, and I'm not a rumor monger, so I don't really care that much about the love story between different celebrities or who's wooing who. So I didn't care about Gigli. I didn't know about Gigli. We all heard about how terrible it was. I can't really form an opinion. I've never seen it, and I never will. I also never saw movies like Reindeer Games with Ben Affleck. These were during the times when he was trying to kind of find himself after the big movie with Matt Damon, where they won all the awards and they were big Hollywood stars at the ripe young age of 20 or something. And I think if anybody finds that kind of success that early, sometimes it's hard for them to then find their place. Many people for years have been talking about, oh, well, look how easy it was for Matt Damon. He went on and became a superstar. Ben Affleck became a failing movie star. That's a lot of what you hear. And then he made movies like Daredevil, which is almost 20 years ago now, or 15 at the very least. And it wasn't that bad. And I know before you attack me and say, what? Well, where are your tastes? No wonder you liked Man of Steel. It wasn't among the crop of Marvel movies or the Batman, the Nolan trilogy of Batman films, or Man of Steel, in my opinion. It wasn't in that strata, but neither were any superhero movies at that time. We hadn't yet gotten to the golden age of superhero movies, as I like to call it. It was kind of a test movie. It was probably they were sitting around saying, well, we really want to get to the big ones eventually, but let's kind of do this and see how it goes. Might have been after Spider-Man, the first Raimi Spider-Man, but I actually think whatever. But I don't think it was. He was a lower tiered hero. Not as many of the general audience knew about him, and they were trying to do a movie on a modest kind of budget. And Ben Affleck was not bad in the role. He pulled the role off just fine. He did the training he needed. His body looked good. He looked like he was in shape. And he played Matt Murdock in the way that you might expect Matt Murdock to be played. And then Daredevil the same way. Colin Farrell was a little over the top. The whole idea of Bullseye being in the movie and being played the way he was over the top. Having Elektra there kind of started to bog it down with too many characters and too many complications. But the acting from Affleck was not unbelievable. He was not terrible. He was not... There was nothing wrong with him in the role. And to those who say that there was, I think you're just remembering that you were disappointed by the movie, or you're remembering saying that you were disappointed by the movie, when in fact the movie's not that bad. But forget about Daredevil. Forget about, you know, this guy that was in some movie, Gigli, that most of us comic book geeks have never seen and would never bother to see and wouldn't be a movie on our radar anyway. And stop grabbing on to other people's opinions out of the ether of what you think Affleck or another actor is because of what he was or what he did when he was young or whatever. Almost all actors that aren't brand new in Hollywood, like say Henry Cavill, who was in The Tudors and got, you know, pretty good reviews there, and then did Immortals right before Man of Steel and a Halloween movie or whatever, Hellraiser movie, and isn't a big star. My opinion would be that they should go out and cast an unknown, just like they kind of did with Cavill, rather than try to have Affleck come in, whose baggage, which is all these people talking about other movies and talking about how he doesn't fit the role, might outweigh the idea of the team-up movie in the first place, might overshadow Cavill, might overshadow Batman, might overshadow the whole thing, so that when you go in, you're just going, oh, let's go watch Affleck. That's always a problem to me, and I don't like to cast mega superstars. The good thing about Affleck is he's not a mega superstar as an actor, although everybody knows who he is. He's more honed his craft and become a very respected member of the Hollywood community for his directing, which could also be good for the movie, because maybe he can help Snyder a bit, maybe he can advise, you know, maybe he can come up with some ideas that will work. I don't know that that kind of stuff was available to him for a movie like Daredevil, which a lot of people say was terrible. If it was terrible, I don't believe that it was because of Affleck, and I actually am kind of excited about seeing Affleck as a slightly older Batman. They're calling him a wiser, more seasoned crime fighter to Henry Cavill's fresh-faced Superman. I don't really love that line, and we were kind of told that Superman was the first and others would follow. Maybe he hasn't won the suit yet, maybe he hasn't actually become that, but that would be strange to be in his 40s and to be an older, wiser crime fighter and to only decide now to start. So what I'm thinking is he's probably an underground kind of myth, which a lot of the Batman, depending on the continuity stories, paint him as before Gordon meets him and before he is kind of out there and everybody in the world knows that he exists. He's kind of a mythological hero, nightmare, scary type of thing, which works for Batman, but still is kind of like a lie that they told us. And I don't think it's Snyder's fault. I think Warner Brothers moved in and said, this is how we can beef this thing up. This is how we can really hedge our bets and try to make as much money and have as much success as we can. I don't expect critics to love this idea either, even though we don't know what the script is and we haven't seen the movie. I think the more you cram in, the more action, the more characters, and the more you do, the more likely you are to turn off the critics who want to see a deep personal story about one person or a couple of people who are integral to the story. Now we're talking about maybe having them come to fisticuffs, you know, maybe having Batman make Superman weep, those kinds of things. So, but being that this is an episode about Affleck, I think Affleck is going to be good in the role. He's a good actor, and he's, you know, aside from directing, he's acted in most of the movies he's directed. Argo, The Town, when he directed Gone Baby Gone, you could tell that he had kind of come into his own. And now, as an actor in those movies as well, he's coming out in a movie called Runner Runner, which is with Justin Timberlake, who a lot of other people may question as an actor too. But Timberlake is also kind of successful as an actor and kind of talented as an actor. And Affleck being in this movie, I don't think he directed it. I don't really think he's one of the creative forces, other than being very knowledgeable in the field and knowing that he knows creative things and that he knows how movies are made and he knows what's going on. So, I think Affleck's going to be fine. Quiet down about movies that were made years and years ago. Thanks, everybody, for watching. And remember, always look at Affleck!